actually tell which clinician is online and when, depending on their call schedule. And at that point, we can actually launch a video call with that particular healthcare professional. So in this particular area here, the patient would sit with a certified, someone that's certified to actually use what are our biometric diagnostic peripherals. So at this point, what we do have is we have a Bluetooth, a Linden stethoscope, the one that the clinicians that we all love to use. And then we also have, this is a camera that's made by one of our partner organizations called JEDMed, and this is a general exam camera with a high definition screen. And essentially what happens here is the patient comes and sits down, and ideally, you know, they would probably sit in this chair in front of this particular camera. So let's say I was the nurse, I would sit there and I would take their biometric data, and that biometric data is actually fed immediately to that remote physician. So they can actually tell what that data is as it's actually being measured, which I think is great. In addition to that, of course, we've got the video, the high definition video conferencing. So let's say the patient's sitting there and the physician says, "How are you feeling today?" And they say, "I'm fine." But the clinician very clearly sees that the lips are blue, they're cyanotic, we've got oxygen deprivation issues. The video piece is obviously hugely valuable. And then of course, here's just a little demonstration of our general exam camera, but you can see here that you can really see the definition of that. And you can actually take pictures, and you can capture those pictures as well too, and send them over for the clinician to refer to if they want to bring someone else into the conversation, if they want to forward something to them. We have that ability to do that. You can also you can do chat, you can take notes, and ideally as well too, depending on the provider, we would link up to the EMR and the EHR, whatever they do have available. So in terms of the software that's used, it's very powerful, and of course we use our video technology to actually capture the video piece.
The idea is that you have the speakers here hooked up to listen to everything coming over. Now, the video feed that would be here would be from the microscope that was being shown before. That essentially shows up here. Any type of notes or conversations you want to have, those can be added as well. So you can have 3, 4, 5 participants in here. So if you wanted to send a note specifically to maybe other physicians, where there's some kind of private discussion between the physicians, you can do that as well, and not have necessarily the patient know or send something to the patient directly. So a lot of the back-end system stuff will tie into some of the popular databases for EMR. So if you need to pull patient records, and we don't have anything filled out here because we're using it strictly as a demo, but if you were to punch in a patient number, if you had a patient number, then it would pull up all your information, and then the notes would get added to that as well.
The other thing that we're looking at is, if someone comes into this waiting area, well, how do we utilize our iServices technology from Cisco? What you see up here is what digital media has now become. Digital media used to pull static content from a server, whereas now you've got dynamic content that's ever changing. Right? An example of that is here. We tie directly into the Metrolinx feed, and I can see, the GO train schedules. This is what's showing at Waterfront Toronto. We have a kiosk at Waterfront Toronto, so we decided to put that content up there because we haven't done the content info for Essex County as yet. So that's what we're working on today. However, you can see that everything's touchscreen, move things around. If I wanted to show a Pan Am video, I could, right? If I'm in a wheelchair and I walk up to, I come up to this, right? I'm going to see, all right, there's places on the screen I can't reach. There's the accessibility options. And so now everything moves down to the lower half of the screen. The other part of this too, like for example with Pan Am, we were able to show functionality where you could have a card reader on the side, come up, swipe a card. It would say, "Hello Mary," right? This is your volunteer information for the day, or this is your schedule for the day, this is where you're going to go. So in terms of using this for this trailer in Essex County, especially in terms of festivals or the migrant workers, people could come in here and say, well, I'm going to come up here, I'm going to get some event info, I'm going to see what's going on, right? I'm going to see what the stats are of a soccer game. What's the weather going to be like? But there's also the capability with, very specific example, the locals in Essex County don't necessarily like a lot of the migrant workers coming in because they're not accustomed to the rules and regulations. They don't know how to ride a bike properly within the city, so it causes a little bit of disruption. So here you could come in and you could actually run videos for the migrant workers as they come in to say this is how you ride a bike in the city. These are the services you can go get, right? Run it in Spanish, have different language options, right? So there's a lot of functionality that can be provided with the interactive services, right? Lots of ideas, lots of applications.